Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, I have two very odd stories. One, a hellhound was seen in southern Illinois, and yet another Mothman encounter has been recorded, folks, and we're going to be reading that one today as well. Let's get into the first article. Black Venom Canine streaks across southern Illinois. Multiple witnesses report high-speed entity near Sparta. Let's get into the account now, folks. A southern Illinois family had two separate encounters with a fast-moving black canine-like anomaly near the edge of Sparta. What makes this case stand out is the consistency of the descriptions, the extreme speed involved, and the presence of multiple witnesses during the second sighting. Similar reports of nearby Missouri suggest, this may be part of a wider regional pattern rather than an isolated incident. The first encounter occurred in early January 2012 in the evening hours shortly after nightfall. The witness and her husband were driving approximately 35 miles per hour through a semi-residential area on the outskirts of Sparta. As her husband spoke, the witness noticed what appeared to be a solid black streak crossing the roadway directly in front of their vehicle from left to right. Her immediate impression was canine, yet the form was noticeably taller than any known dog. There was no clear outline or anatomical detail. Instead, the figure appeared as a dense black blur, similar to the exaggerated motion streaks used in animation to convey extreme speed. The movement was unnaturally smooth, lacking any visible gait, stride, or bounding motion. The entire event lasted less than 2 seconds. Her husband did not witness the phenomenon because he momentarily turned his head. Afterward, they searched the area but found no animal, person, or physical trace that could explain what had crossed the road. So, what was this entity, folks? From the description, it sounds like it could be akin to maybe to the stickman phenomena, folks. You know, people witnessing what looks like to them like literal stickmen, the kind of drawings that children make, literally moving around, except this thing was kind of like basically an animated cartoon character from an animated short, like basically Roadrunner. You get the idea here, folks, except it was all black, so it could also be that it was a hellhound or similar phantom black canine entity, folks. Either way, do you think that there's a relationship between basically phantom hounds and maybe the stickman phenomena? Because this article is giving us ideas that maybe there is. Either way, let's continue with this witness's story. The second sighting occurred in mid-February 2026 while the family was at home. The witness, her husband, and their 25-year-old daughter were seated in the living room, which features large bay windows overlooking both the yard and the road in front of the house. As snow was expected that evening, all three looked outside at the same time to check the conditions. At the exact moment, they observed a black streak racing north along the roadway. Based on familiarity with traffic speeds in the area, the witness estimated the entity was traveling between 50 and 60 miles per hour in a posted 25 miles per hour zone. The speed appeared far beyond that of any known animal. All three rushed outside immediately, yet nothing was visible, no sound was heard, and no physical trace was found. Each witness independently described the same visual details, afterward all agreeing that the form resembled a canine shape rendered as a black streak with no discernible features. The witness noted that their location is approximately 30 minutes from Missouri and found it compelling that another similar report had been submitted for a 2012 sighting on the opposite side of the Mississippi River in Missouri. Until encountering that account, they had never read a description matching their own experience. Yeah, I can see that, folks. Phantom black dogs, or hellhounds as they're also known, folks, at least this entity that our witness describes here really sounds like a hellhound or a phantom black dog to me. I think they're the same phenomenon, even if some people might say that hellhounds are more demonic rather than basically phantom black dogs. As I said, I think they're a similar phenomena. But our witness here also says that this entity looked like basically, like it was almost like it was an animated, entity. Like it was basically a cartoon character, or at least had aspects like it, how it had motion blur, or basically as it moved, it gave off that impression. Makes me, think of the stickman phenomena, as I said, folks. Do you think that there is any relationship between basically these solid black entities and basically stickmen? Some people have speculated before that they might be related to shadow men, or basically the shadow entity phenomena. So maybe indeed there is, folks. Either way, very strange. And we can talk about this a little more after we read the next article, which is titled Winged Humanoid Encounter Near Camp Pine Woods on Westlake Avenue, northeast of O'Hare International Airport. And here another account of Mothman, folks, this time directly from the O'Hare International Airport, where basically this phenomena started. over a decade ago. Let's continue with this article, folks. Late on the night of September 7th, 2023, a driver passing Camp Pine Woods along West Lake Avenue experienced an encounter that left a lasting psychological imprint. The location sits behind the Des Plaines River corridor northeast of O'Hare International Airport, an area long associated with winged humanoid activity. What began as unease quickly escalated into a direct roadside sighting. I was driving Thursday night around 10 p.m. on my way to pick up food in the Glenview area. Before I even got there, I felt off. There was a heavy sense of unease, almost like a brain fog. I could not focus and felt disconnected. I assumed it was stress from working a 9-to-5 job. Okay, folks. I can imagine that, folks. I've also had brain fog, or basically, literally, brain farts where I forget things, folks. At least a name and stuff like that. Sometimes I have to look it up, and sometimes it just comes back to me after I basically just give up just trying to force remembering it. So I can understand this guy's feelings here. Either way, he felt unease, so it might have been something more. In fact, it probably was, because he was about to experience something he could not explain. So let's read on. I was driving along West Lake Avenue, listening to music and singing to my favorite playlist. Earlier, I had passed the cemetery on River Road, which I hate driving by. Out of nowhere, I started feeling spooked. I didn't know why I let it get to me, so I ignored the feeling and kept singing. It was Lady Gaga, so I was really into it. As I drove past the wooded area along West Lake Avenue, I suddenly saw something standing completely still on the right side of the road. At first, I wanted to believe it was a deer, but this thing was 6 or 7 feet tall and standing upright. Deer do not do that. Its body was dark gray, almost cement-like, and its eyes reflected bright red, the same way bicycle reflectors do. That is what caught my attention. The moment our eyes locked, my stomach dropped. I felt instant fear, like the sudden drop on a roller coaster. And I can imagine why, folks, because seeing something like that would probably cause anyone's well-being to suddenly drop out through their stomach, folks, leaving them truly bewildered. Either way, let's get back to this guy's story. I panicked and kept telling myself to keep driving and not to look back. I sped up toward the next light intersection because I wanted to be near other cars and businesses. I kept telling myself it was just a deer and that I did not see anything. I picked up my Bunchon chicken and took the highway home instead of driving back. The same way, the next day, I went to work as usual, but I could not stop thinking about what had happened. I finally told a co-worker who was into paranormal topics. She told me about the Mothman sightings around Chicago, especially near the airport. That is when I started researching and found the Google Maps sightings page. I never thought I would reach out about something like this, but here I am. Whatever these beings are, hope they are not hostile, Jay. Now, for the most part, folks, these beings have not been hostile. Now, people who have seen them sometimes have felt evil feelings from them or been frightened by them, but they've never actually attacked anyone, like with basically most accounts of a supernatural or, ufological nature, folks. These entities have never actually attacked anyone as far as anyone can really tell. Though there have been rumors and stories that perhaps that these entities do kill and eat people. And I don't just mean Mothman, folks, but also gray aliens and other ufological entities, and sometimes even other completely unrelated cryptids. But that could just be fear when people actually do see these things, that they think they're some sort of predators or demonic entities. As I said, folks, there's been no direct evidence that that actually happens, only tall tales and fear-mongering. Now, I myself, I would say that these entities could be frightening, but that may be because we have no idea what they are and what they want here on this planet. And like with the first story, folks, with this phantom black dog, people have seen these bizarre entities. And, we have to ask, are they related, perhaps? Could it be that basically the Mothman is related to basically the phantom black dog phenomena? I mean, both accounts mention dark or basically almost black entities. But do you think that there's a link? Now, in most Mothman accounts, they mention that these entities are basically, physical, not like the phantom black dogs. So, as far as I can tell, no, but maybe there is. Either way, maybe one day we'll actually know about all of this. But now we're at the end, folks, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.